Hello, USC, and happy Global Accessibility Awareness Day. My name is Joe Devon, and I'm the co-founder of Global Accessibility Awareness Day, as well as Diamond. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about the 10th anniversary of GAD, and we're going to be speaking about digital inclusion for people with disabilities. Let's start with a definition. Accessibility is the quality of being suitable or adapted for use by people with disabilities. Now, first, a couple of words about Global Accessibility Awareness Day. Most people just call it GAD for short. It is celebrated the third Thursday each May, and today is the 10th anniversary. Please follow the GAD hashtag GAAD on Twitter because that's where most of the action happens. And check out the URL at globalaccessibilityawarenessday.org. My dad's journey is what really led to the creation of Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And it began with an indignity. You see, my dad was someone who commanded respect when he walked in the room. He really lived a life. He survived the concentration camps, spoke 10 languages. He was a Talmudic scholar, and he also was as good at science as he was at the Talmud and the Bible. Here's a picture of him at JPL. And as he got older, it got very difficult for him because he started to lose his hearing as well as his vision, and banking became almost impossible. And in fact, it took away my dad's independence because he'd have to spend a full day to get to the bank using Access paratransit, which often left him waiting a couple of hours in the valley and in the heat, lots of trouble going to the bathroom and things like that. And because he couldn't hear, telephone banking was impossible. And as a web developer, I was really hoping that online banking would be the solution. But in fact, the banking website was not accessible, which was very frustrating. And it prompted me to write this blog post on November 27th, 2011, proposing that we create a day of awareness around accessibility. Originally, the idea was for developers because I was a backend programmer at the time, but it's evolved into everyone who develops digital products for a living. My co-founder of GAD is Jennison Asuncion, who at the time was an evangelist, a blind accessibility evangelist out of Toronto. And now he's heading up an important accessibility team over at LinkedIn. And thanks to him running across my blog post, he said, hey, let's make this happen. And in 2012, GAD was born. And it went viral from the very first year. Here's a tweet from Stephen Fry, who tweeted it out to his millions of followers. But we also had governmental events in India. We had lots of companies pick it up. But unfortunately, tragedy struck. And by year 2, my dad had passed away from cancer. And he was taking care of my mom. He was the caretaker, and my brother and my mom had to take care of my mom who had dementia when you talk about accessibility. By year 2, we started collecting, I like to call it the NASCAR logo strip. We started collecting logos. Year 3, we got some more. And by that year, it has come full circle. The very bank that was inaccessible, who I never mentioned their name to this day publicly, they sent us an email and said they're doing an internal event about accessibility because they know that they have issues. And I'm sharing this in a very personal way because accessibility is personal. And it's really important for you to understand that equality for people with disabilities is really important. And it has taken off in such a big way because it affects so many people. And so as you can see, year 4, we started to gather a lot more momentum. Year 5, even more. And by year 6, I cannot fit the logos on a slide. And in fact, I can't even track it. There's just way too many. Fast forward to last year, which was year 9, my mom passed away on Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And yeah, it was a very rough day. And, but, you know, my mom wanted to be a part of it, I'm sure, in some way. She never really understood what the day was about because her dementia was already severe enough. But I know she wouldn't have liked this to only be my dad's story. She would have wanted to be part of the story, and now she officially is. And again, this just shows you how many people it affects. Let me mention a few notable moments that happened in GAD. Here's a tweet from Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, who invited Stevie Wonder to give a concert on the Apple campus to celebrate GAD. The big tech companies, they started to change their homepage for the day. And here you have Microsoft released an adaptive controller, this very adaptive controller that I have here, on Global Accessibility Awareness Day. And this is really the most important thing. If there's one message that I leave with you, it's that these are kids. You should see they made a Super Bowl commercial with these kids. They don't want your pity. They're not interested in any of that. All they want is to play video games. And when we build products accessibly, then they can play their video games. And if we don't, we're locking them out. And they're just adorable children who deserve the right to play games just like their friends. I'd like to speak a bit about accessibility statistics, because if you've paid attention to this space, you'll hear a lot of people talking about the statistics. But they're all wrong because they're looking at it the wrong way. Now, if you're over 50 like I am, you're going to have floaters and clouds in your eyes, and you're not going to see very well. And essentially, the exact same level of visual impairment, if you're 5 years old, would be considered a disability. But at my age, I'm just old. And the older you get, the harder it is to hear, the harder it is to see, the more you need contrast. And so we're looking at a lot of folks when they're building products are thinking, oh, what percentage of the population does this even matter for? But in reality, it matters for all of us. So some of the statistics you'll see are like 15% of the population and 1 billion worldwide have a disability. But then they contradict themselves because they say that 2.2 billion have a visual impairment, which is 28% of the population. And then if you look at who is over 50, and I can tell you being over 50, all of us, we cannot see the way we did when we were younger or here. That's 34% of the population. So the answer to all of this is about really thinking about all humans. Humans are mortal. Accessibility is important for 100% of the population. Thank you very much. And happy 10th Global Accessibility Awareness Day.